Hey, what's up, everybody? Big Jason here with my special guest, $1 Million Mike Morgan. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
I thought you were my special guest.
We're both our special guests. Do you have
Oh, I'm doing great.
awesome? How's it in Idaho right now?
Let's see. It is very nice and sunny with a few rolling clouds and 75.
Nice.
Perfect bicycle riding weather, which I will be indulging in tonight.
Cool. So, we're going to be talking about cutting your writing time by 80% while boosting response at the same time. And we're going to be revealing our super bonus for the simple writing system. You're going to be able to have $1 Million Mike and myself as your coach.
As your coach for until the end of the year, basically, which is a pretty cool thing. I think simple writing system it's such a great course, and it's a really good foundation. And then having someone work with you a little bit on top of that, with a special kind of new course that you guys will be the first guys to get to take with Big Jason and I, and it's going to be pretty fun.
Yeah, and for those of you greedy little copywriters or soon-to-be copywriters, the link, so you know, is emailresponsewarrior.com/SWS bonus. emailresponsewarrior.com/SWS bonus.
Excellent. So I guess what we do is, hey, this is no big sales job. Either you want in on simple writing system and you want to learn how to write really great copy, or you don't. We'll have some nuggets here for any of you guys who aren't really interested but just want to be on the hangout with us. But I think the first thing we'll do is just tell you what we're going to do as far as the bonus goes. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, definitely. I know some people, they're ready to go right now. They've told me, so let's just go ahead and tell them what they're going to get.
Okay, so the first thing, of course, you'll get me as your coach in simple writing system, which is pretty cool. My former students have done really well. In fact, one of my simple writing students went on, and he was a colleague of mine at Agora Financial for a while, and now he's working with other Agora divisions in their health divisions. And he's a really sharp dude. In fact, it was like his second time through the course. First time he went through was with me, and then he was smart enough to realize that repetition is the mother of skill, and he went through the course again with a different teacher, Kevin Rogers, that time. And he got to see things kind of from he got to see the system twice, and then he got to see the system from two other pro writers' point of view, and get the different ways that they teach in there. And I found, after years of having, John was one of my original coaches. He gave me my first ever feedback on a letter, and he demolished me in a nice way, and actually gave me just a boatload of help. So John Carlton's always been great. And I was at the original simple writing system seminar that John gave. I was already a pro, already $1 million writer. And John thought I made, a really good mix in the videos that you'll see if you buy a simple writing system. But anyway, so on to the bonuses. So the first bonus that we're going to do is, and I've never done this before, we're going to have a couple of hangouts during the simple writing system where we'll be there to answer your questions, your specific questions about whatever it is that we're working on, whatever the steps that we've done up to that point. So we'll probably do the first one, I'd say, after the maybe after the second week of the course, because I think the first 3 exercises there in simple writing system are super important that you get them done right, especially the first couple. And we'll be there to make sure that that you get a little bit of extra love during that time. And then in about the 4th week, we'll have another hangout. So not only will you get all the support that I'll be giving you in the simple writing system, but you'll also get it from Jason and I twice more during the course. And then after the course is where the fun really starts, because what we're going to do is we're going to give you an extra 6 months of support. And in that 6 months of support, we're going to go over what I say can cut 80%, maybe even more off of your writing time. And it's a little process that I call copy thinking, which kind of sounds hard, but it really isn't. It's way easier than writing. And we'll be going through my whole system that I've developed once I started writing for Agora. I'll tell you, the first probably 8 years or so, 7, 8 years of my copywriting career, you know, I did some pretty cool things. I did, you know, almost 50 launches, sold, you know, millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of stuff. I think my biggest launch might have been 17 million. And, you know, even though I did all that, I'd say I was a pretty average copywriter, maybe a little above average, but definitely not an A-list copywriter. And after I got into Agora in the big leagues, I realized that I had to really change my whole system of how I wrote copy. And if you ever look at any really great ads, you'll find out there's always a really great single idea that drives the whole package. And you know, I definitely had used that technique before, but I didn't really use it to the level that you could use it at. So in copy thinking, we're going to really dissect that whole system. And so basically what copy thinking is all about is there's 3 components. There's your prospect. So, you know, knowing your prospect really well, knowing his avatar, which we'll work on in Simple Writing System, and maybe even taking it a step or 2 further, for sure, during the course. That's the first part of copy thinking, is really knowing that prospect. Because until you really know that prospect, anything else that you're going to work on, it doesn't mean a hill of beans. Because if it doesn't resonate with that prospect, then you're going to fall flat on your ass. And I'll give you a great example of that from one of my own failures. One of my failures that I turned into a success, by the way, was the first package that I wrote for one of Agora Financial's top newsletters called Penny Stock Fortunes. Now, Penny Stock Fortunes, it's not about penny stocks, it's about small cap stocks. And it's really one of our best editors. The guy's got a phenomenal track record of success. And he's become a really good friend of mine. But the first idea that I came up with for that was a boner, and not a good boner. And basically, my idea there did not resonate with my prospect. And so my prospect at Agora Financial, you know, he's very conservative. He's probably a right-wing Republican, Christian, or a libertarian, or a little, you know, feeling a bit of both. And my idea for the Penny Stock Fortune program was actually, it was a really good idea. It just wasn't the right one for this audience. And it was basically, I think the idea on it was Obama's silver lining. And the whole idea behind it was that during Democratic administration, small cap stocks do far, far better than at any other time. And that while Obama was in, you know, they could really get on the gravy train. And my editor's track record totally supported that. I mean, he'd been doing like 32% a year over Obama's administration, which is well above, you know, what good market returns are. So my copy chief, you know, he said, well, I've got a suspicion, and that is that our readers are so right-wing, they won't accept anything that Obama could do for them. And I thought, and a few other pretty good A-list copywriters thought also, that people were more concerned with money than with politics. Well, that was proven absolutely wrong. And that package, I mean, it converted, but it didn't convert good enough to beat the control, which was a control that's been there for, gosh, 8 or 10 years. And so I rewrote it. I did a one stock story, and It'll be part of the swipe file that you'll get as a bonus in a simple writing system. Um, and it's been a control for over a year. And it's because I kept the prospect in mind. So the first part of copy thinking is the prospect. The second part of copy thinking is the research. Now, I was a pretty good researcher before I started at Agora. I mean, I'm like all copywriters. I'm like a really curious guy. I'm curious about a lot of things. I know a little about a lot of different things. And I can always really sharpen that thinking a lot, you know, through some research. But one of the things I realized fairly early on, and David Deutsch actually helped me at least figure out the skeleton of what I was missing, and I put all the pieces together and realized that I needed to completely change the way I do research. And so I did. I changed the way I did research, and David Garfinkel, who's another great friend of mine and was a mentor for, gosh, a long time. I mean, we talk every week. Garf's a fantastic colleague and friend. And I got him hooked in with Agora Financial with us to help teach some of the younger copywriters there. Anyway, I'd had the conversation about what Deutsch and I had been talking about with David Garfinkel. And he says, I think I know exactly the video you need to see. And he sent me to see this cool old video that was done by Eugene Schwartz, and I think he was presenting to Rodell. And he talked about his how he did research, which was totally different because he's selling books and I'm selling subscriptions to newsletters around, you know, really big ideas that need a different type of research. But through that video, I kind of gleaned a new way to do my my research, and it helped me with what the third step of copy thinking is, which is the ideation process. And I had realized that I'd been shortcutting certain portions of the ideation process. Part of that is because of my personality. I like fast. I'm fast, fast, fast. I've had all kinds of personality tests before, and I think, you know, you really need to know yourself to be a good copywriter. And that's, I guess, kind of been a little bit of a hobby of mine, is knowing about myself. But one thing I knew is that I like fast. I love fast. And I was shortcutting a part of the ideation process that was really hurting me. And this whole research system that I set up and I integrated it with the ideation process. And so all this stuff, prospect plus research plus ideation, equals what I call copy thinking. And I'm going to teach you guys, I'm going to like break down my whole system and show everybody how I did that in the 6 months after the simple writing system. So there'll be like 6 hangouts there, 1 a month. And in each one I'll present a certain part of copy thinking. Now, during those hangouts, we'll also be doing critiques. If you have copy that needs to be critiqued, we'll be critiquing that. We'll also be, I'll be teaching you some of the methods that we use at Agora to help evaluate copy, so that you can come out with your own small groups of people and you can evaluate your copy. And I'll tell you, you know, one of the things about copy thinking is that you don't really have to be a great writer to make it work, because you do all the work up front before you even start on the writing. And if you're a halfway decent writer and you know the copywriting system, and you don't sabotage yourself, and you know all the stuff that we'll teach you in simple writing system, you can have successful package after successful package as a okay writer, or even as a okay salesman. I mean, you don't have to be the best salesman to be able to make this, to be able to make all this work. So so I'll be teaching you some of the methods that we've used to evaluate copy, which is something that that really you can break off into small groups, and you can do forever, and you can get a lot of the kinks out of your copy before it goes live. And of course, we're going to give you, as we're going along, we're going to be giving you a big ass swipe file. And we'll be analyzing some copy that I've done, some of my controls that I've done for Agora Financial, and integrating them into the whole copy thinking system so you can see in real life how it works. So I think that pretty much explains it.
Pretty much.
Oh, I did forget one thing too, is that we want to give you an hour consult too during that 6 months. So you can break it up into a couple half-hour sessions or do an hour session, and you can do it with me or with Jason or with both of us, whatever you want to do. We just want to like help support you. It's a ton of time that we're putting into this, but like I said in my Facebook post, was that, you know, the first thing I told John when he said he was getting the band back together for Simple Writing System was, he asked who was in. And I was the first guy to say I was in, because I know every time I teach Simple Writing System that I become a better writer myself. And I think if you've taken Simple Writing System before and you're not, you know, really liking the results that you came out with, you could take it again. I think they give you a really good deal on that, if I recall. And I can find out if you want to message me on Facebook or send Jason an email, and we can find out for you. But then you can get access to all the bonus there too, which is you know, easily worth what you're putting in on Simple Writing System.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone that John Carlton refers to me pays me $1,000 for an hour.
Yeah, and I do $1,000 an hour consults for people too. So, I mean, we're really giving, and this is going to be a very small group. We don't have a really big list. This is on our Facebook, and our lists, they're not huge. We just really woke my list back up. And it's going to be, you know, a pretty small group. I would guess, you know, less than 10 people for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So you're basically getting two coaches in one. You're having one of the best in, you know, sales letters and one of the best in emails at your fingertips. And
I'll tell you what, you know, what Jason's going to teach you in email is going to help you in a lot of different ways. Not only just on email, but that whole like way to think about short copy. It can help you with a lot of your traffic generation too. You know, if you're doing things like advertorials, or if you're doing display ads, that type of thing. This whole idea of short copy that Jason's going to teach you in kind of as email will be really important for you going forward.
Yeah, definitely, especially when you're working on your sales letter. I can help you with the crafting the emails going to that sales letter, because that makes a huge difference. And speaking of cutting your writing time, that's another big thing that I can help you out with. A lot of people say long copy works now, and one of the big case studies, it's false. So they're saying that long copy works better now, and they give this long series of emails, and they're like, look, when you start writing the longer emails, you're making more money. And when you look at the first email, it's when the urgency starts. So it's actually the urgency. So email marketing is more about, you know, the right email at the right time to the right person versus, you know, the right length of the email. So short emails can work, long emails can work. If, say, like I'm promoting to, say, Mike's sales letter, obviously it's not going to be as long, because it's going to be amazing. Whereas someone else, if you're doing affiliate promo, you might have to give them a little more info to get them interested. So I'll be helping you with that.
But by short copy too, I don't mean like, you know, that you advocate, you know, shorter emails over longer emails.
Right.
But what I'm talking about is it's not a 10,000 or 12,000 word sales letter. So
Sure.
It's a lot. It's more compact thinking, and and that's what it takes to be successful in those advertorials and display ads and that type of thing.
Yeah, a big thing that I've found works sometimes, depending on the offer, is if-then. You know, Gary Halbert's famous if-then openings of his sales letters. A lot of them have that. if you want X, then this is the most important message I'll read. My most responsive email in 2013 for the #1 golf site on the web was only 36 words, and it wasn't blind either. And that's what I call the email big idea, which is going through the sales letter, and based on your research that Mike's talking about, you're able to pinpoint the one big idea in that sales letter. That's all you have to cover. Really pithy, make every word tell in your email, and you have this really short, powerful email that, is it going to get as many clicks? No, because most people are writing now longer emails trying to hit multiple buttons throughout the email. When you learn the system from Mike, you'll be able to apply it and focus on that one thing that's going to hit a laser targeted segment of your audience, and you're going to make way more sales.
Yeah, and I'll show you too, like so we have to write lift notes. We do rent a lot of email lists, and we put advertisements in emails. And so when I write a big long copy package, I also have to have another batch of shorter copy stuff, one that could be for a dedicated email or one that could be for a shorter ad. And we call those a lot of those are called lift notes. And you can see how in one sales letter I can pull out a bunch of different ideas from that sales letter, and we can test it in the lift notes to see which lift note drives the most traffic to the sales letter and also converts the best. So those are really important skills to know. And really, copy thinking, I think, once you know how to write copy, which you'll learn in SWS, the whole copy thinking system is going to help you everywhere, along with writing your sales letters faster, along with writing emails better and more pinpointed, and any display ads or whatever that you might do.
Correct. Someone just got on and they want to know if you can recap the bonus, and is it only available if you pay in full?
Well, you have to pay it the whole way through. Whatever we do before all the money is in. I mean, there's yours to keep, of course. So basically, in a nutshell, the SWS bonus is going to be 2 hangouts with Jason and I during the course itself, either week 2 or 3, and then probably week 5 or so. Mm-hmm. And there will be just helping you with the components in the simple writing system to help you gain the maximum amount of knowledge and savvy out of that. Okay, so then simple writing system is done, and then the real bonus kicks in, which is the 6 months of supporting webinars. That's going to teach my whole copy thinking system, which is prospect plus research plus ideation. That cuts about 80% or so off of your writing time. So I'll tell you how this works. So did I already tell the story about my income on demand headline and lead that I just wrote?
No.
So so here's a bit how this is going to cut a lot of your writing time off. So I did my copy thinking process on a new newsletter that I'm writing a back-end promo for. It's called Income on Demand, and I'd gone through my copy thinking process. Of course, I already know my customer. My customer's almost the same animal in every newsletter that I do, with a few tweaks. So I knew what the tweaks were, and I did my research and I did my ideation, and in 20 minutes I wrote a lead. I spent probably a couple of hours editing that. I read it to Big Jason, I read it to Scott Haynes, I read it to David Garfinkel, and every one of them loved it and said, in fact, Garfinkel said, put that sucker under glass and don't touch it. And then I sent it in to the ultimate test before the market, which is my copy chief at Agora Financial, Joe Schriefer. And Joe is a super, super sharp. He's not like the best copywriter, but the guy's like a walking, and he's a good copywriter, I'll give you that too. But he's a walking encyclopedia financial promos over, gosh, probably the last 8 years. And so he knows a really good idea when he sees it, and he knows a great headline and lead when he sees it. And he absolutely loved it and thought it was great. We had one little tweak over the amount that we worked on. I had to work on with my editor, and all that's good. And you guys will get to spend a little time with that promo. By the time copy thinking starts, it ought to be starting test, and so we can tear that down too. But anyway, so yeah, I spent very little time on that headline and lead, and that headline and lead is 80% of your success. As long as you don't blow anything else like the close and your proof and all that stuff, your headline and lead is going to be 80% of your success, and we're going to really dial that in over the 6 months of copy thinking.
Nice. So it's basically the regular simple writing system coaching with the both of us, you know, emails, sales letters, the whole 9 yards, then 6 additional months of coaching. And I believe, Mike, that's going to be 1 hangout per month. And not only your copy thinking system, we're going to have one devoted to email as well. And you'll be able to submit, you know, your copy for critiques. And then you're also going to get an additional private 1-hour call with either one of us or both of us. And we haven't even mentioned, Mike, you know, myself, I've been behind some of the biggest product launches in internet marketing history. So if they just have a product and they write this sales letter during the simple writing system and then they're getting ready to launch it, this is like perfect, because they got the, you know, product launch, their sales letter, their emails, everything's going to be covered.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to be in you guys' corner. Another thing I should mention too that we haven't really announced, and I don't have everything pinned down, but I have already got private message on Facebook by a few friends of mine who are like experts in certain areas. And one of them I've got pinned down right now is Justin Brook, who will do a special webinar with him where he'll talk about a bunch of traffic generation strategies. And it's not like going to be a pitch call. He's not going to be there selling a product. He's just going to be there giving you real information. And I promised him an interview. I don't really do interviews anymore, but I did promise him an interview in exchange for that, because I think it's going to be huge value for all you guys, and he thinks I can be a value for some of his people too. So we're going to kind of swap that, but it's going to be great for you guys.
Nice. Any additional questions? Again, that's emailresponsewarrior.com/SWS bonus. So Mike, when they get the bonus, and if they've never taken the system before, they're going to go in and they're going to request to be coached by you and I, right?
Well, if they go in under the link, they'll automatically be, they don't have to request it.
Okay. All right,
They'll
great.
automatically go in my class.
Cool.
Yeah, there's something on with Simple Writing System. You can't really choose your teacher if you like buy through somebody else's link. And it used to be too that you couldn't team up with people, but they let us this year, and so Big Jason and I were teaming up so we can double your fun.
And we're also going to be giving them a big ass swipe file, right?
Oh yeah, there'll be a big ass swipe file, and some of those too will analyze the copy. All the swipe file that you'll get will be in a bunch of different niches. It's all very successful copy, I'll tell you, having a good swipe file is essential. Not just to necessarily swipe from, but you can see how how other big ideas have really played out in copy and how they're executed.
Yeah, and like right now, they're seeing a great offer live in action as we speak. So I think a lot of people are going to get a lot about creating offers too.
Hopefully. I mean, that's a pretty killer thing. Oh, by the way, if you get in and you don't have any of my courses, we'll throw both of my courses in, right, Jason? My Magic Offer course and my Conversion Crash course. Really don't focus on those during the simple writing system. Just do the simple writing system and come back to that. I've got like a pile of copywriting courses. In fact, let's see if I can pull my. Here's some of my go-to ones that I use all the time. If you can see them in my thing there, we've got Gary Vinsavinga, got Clayton Mapeace, we've got John Carlton, we got Gary Halbert stuff. I've got Scott Haynes stuff there, and a bunch of stuff. And of course, I got a pretty full bookshelf over there. Another one. Let's see if I can get to it. Over there. So we'll give you a bunch of good book recommendations too, and course recommendations. You know, when I started out in copywriting, I started out with the AWAI course because they got me with that retire this year and make more money than a doctor. But I got some really good advice when I started with that from a guy named Harlan Kilstein, who taught me a lot about the business of copywriting, and basically his advice to me was get through that as fast as you can and then go take John Carlton's course. And I'll tell you, I wish I took John Carlton's course first because it's a lot more street level and easier to grasp. And AWAI, I mean, it's a good course, I think. Some copywriters will bag on it, but I think it's a good course, especially if you want to write for one of the big boys. I wish I'd have done it the other way around, but doing them both kind of back to back was a really great experience for me because I got two different ways of looking at copy. And I've done that throughout my career with, you know, learning what Clayton Makepeace had to say, learning what Garfinkel had to say, learning what Michael Fortin had to say, learning about what Gary Halbert had to say. I mean, he was like, he was the big, he was probably the most knowledge I got to begin with came from reading every Gary Halbert letter and reading the Boron letters a couple of times. And, you know, and Scott Haynes. And I mean, you can learn from every copywriter. And the more that you do, the better that you get, because a lot of this copywriting stuff is like layers of onion. And it's like you can access one layer at a time, basically, maybe a couple. When I started out in copywriting, I thought I was going to learn like 5 years worth of copywriting stuff in my first couple of years. And I convinced myself that I did until I started with Agora and I realized that I hadn't. Even though I, you know, learned from a lot of different people, I had to go back to some real basics and more of this AWAI style to be able to, you know, write promos that worked for Agora. And it didn't take me long either. My second promo was a $2 million deal, click, print, gun, and you'll get that swipe in the big swipe file.
Nice. So we're talking about, you know, cutting your writing time in half. One of the things that Bon likes to say about his dad is that he would goof off, you know, quote unquote goof off. People were thinking that he was goofing off, but he was actually thinking about the project and the product and the market for a couple weeks, and then sometimes he'd write a sales letter in 45 minutes in the back of a car on the way to someplace.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what copy thinking really is. It's really, you know, by the time you get done with my system, it's like the through all the research and the ideation process, I mean, it's practically going to write your letter for you. And it makes it so much faster and so much easier. And all that work done up front, you know, is, sure, it's a lot of work in some aspects. And in other aspects, there's absolutely no work at all. And your example there with Gary Halbert. I mean, I come up with ideas out riding my bicycle. I'll go out for a couple-hour rides, and I'll have ideas. I know how to program my brain to help me solve problems before I go to sleep. And I wake up, and 9 times out of 10, I got the answer when I wake up. And if I don't, that other one time, I'll have it by the end of the day. And it's because I've learned how to access my subconscious, which I thought I knew how to do really well, and I've learned how to do even better.
Nice. All right, guys. It's almost 45 minutes, so any final questions about our simple writing system bonus at emailresponsewarrior.com/SWS bonus?
Any questions? Don't be shy.
Yep. Anything about copy, emails? Again, so you're going to be coached by $1 Million Mike and myself during the simple writing system. We're going to give you 2 additional bonus hangouts during the simple writing system. And then once that ends, you're not going to be by yourself. You're going to get 6 additional hangouts for the next 6 months. You'll be able to submit your copy, whether it's sales letters, your checkout pages, your emails, and get critiques. And you're also going to get a private 1-hour call with either both of us or one of us as your bonus. And you're going to get the big ass swipe file.
Yeah, and learning the whole copy thinking process.
Looks like a final question is coming in.
All righty then.
Do they get the swipes after the SW course ends or during the course?
This sounds like the question of a serial refunder. No, just kidding. Actually, yeah, the swipe file will start to get leaked out during each of the webinars after the simple writing system is over.
Right, because if you just give it to them without the copy thinking, then it's not going to do them that much good. It'll just be like another swipe.
Yeah, and everybody's got, you know, plenty of swipes. And these swipes we want to talk about during the simple writing system. I want you guys, I'm not an easy copy coach. You're going to be writing and rewriting and rewriting and rewriting, because that is writing. Writing is rewriting. And I want you to focus 1,000% on SWS. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. Because if you take that too lightly, all the rest is not going to do squat for you.
Yeah, I remember when we first started working together, and I was writing emails for us, and I kept on asking you for feedback, and you just finally just said, just send the damn email, okay? They're great.
And we'll tell you if it's great, and we'll tell you if it sucks.
All right.
Because you'd rather hear from us than you'd rather hear that from us than from the market, because the market is pretty cruel. It won't hand over any money to you. Whereas we will just be a short-term ego bang, of which you need to fortify yourself against anyway.
Yep. Oh, here we go.
I see a question here. Do I access my subconscious through meditation or other means? I don't traditionally meditate, but you know, when I'm out on my bicycle for a couple of hours, I mean, you're there alone with your thoughts, and your brain is pretty much doing most things on autopilot in terms of keeping me on my bike and, you know, and sometimes when I concentrate, there's a lot of dead time there where I can think. I take a lot of walks, and again, I've learned, you know, how to act when I go to sleep.
Nice.
Hope that answers your question, Norris.
Mr. Youngblood, you forgot the big ass swipe file. Also be giving some of my most responsive email swipes as well. And when I critique an email, just so you know, I've seen some email critiques that kind of made me throw up in my mouth. It's like they present an email and they're like, you know, this is a pretty good email, did pretty good. Maybe could have used a metaphor there or a simile. And I'm just like, what the hell? I said, that's not even a really good copy critique. So when we critique your stuff, we're going to want to know a little bit about your market. What's your goal? What's your goal? You know, we want to see the sales letter because, you know, again, email marketing is about the right email at the right time to the right person. It's not just, when Mike says about copy thinking, it's more about the words. So your goal is really not to write a well-written email. You want to write a powerful email that, you know, elicits an emotional response and gets them to respond. The worst thing I hear from people is, and I don't hear it often, which is a good thing, is like, that was a really great email. It's like,
I'll tell you what, if I'm not like slightly nervous about my copy before it goes and gets tested, if I really like it, it's like a lot of times it just doesn't work.
Right.
And if I'm slightly nervous about it, then it's always a better sign for me.
Mm-hmm.
That means, you know, I'm like pushing an edge. You know, we're one of the things that you want your copy to have this like element of strangeness to it. And at first, that element of strangeness will kind of, you know, feel like this fuzzy thing out there, but it'll become more solidified the more copy that you write in that niche, and the more copy that you read in that niche too.
Yep. Yeah, how you know an email really isn't that good when you hear about an email on Facebook is you'll see that not a single person says they either bought the product or even clicked on a link in the email. It's just about how amazing the email is.
Yeah, that's you know, there's a lot of people that get into copywriting that I'd say, you know, there's a huge number of them that are really focused in on the writing part. They're really interested in writing, and that's cool. You need to be interested in persuading too, and that's what you're talking about there, and that's where you tie the two together. If you can write really well and you can persuade really well, then you'll do very well. I mean, like Carlton, he's like an amazing freaking writer, and then you look at like Gary Halbert's stuff, you know, and he had a lot more simple style. He's a great writer too, but you know, he didn't let great writing get in his way. And Carlton is such a great writer that, you know, great writing never got in his way because he was always like laser focused. But you know, there can be guys that are great writers that write good copy, and there can be guys that are not such great writers that write great copy.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, about that, you know, even Agora doesn't have, you know, the world's greatest copywriters, and they're doing great.
Yeah, we've got one guy who he's been writing copy for like a couple of years, and man, he's doing really well. He's an in-house guy, and he's written several million-dollar production or promotions, and it's because he does all this copy thinking ahead of time that he's successful, because he's not like the greatest writer. He doesn't have, you know, the awesome turns of phrase and that type of thing. He's just, you know, you can do a really workman's job with a great idea. You can do a workman's job on your writing, and you know, and you can still make tons of sales. Some of this stuff I look at and I'm like amazed it worked, you know. But
right.
when you look at like the, you know, the skeleton of it, and you see all the simplicity of it and all the thought that went into it ahead of time, then it becomes pretty apparent that, you know, at first it can be really hard to recognize copy that worked versus copy that didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of the things in my email coaching is that I have to slap students around all the time, because I'm like, dude, you're not Carlton. That looks like you're trying to be Carlton. You got to be yourself. It's not about, you know, writing this amazing, you know, email that's, like we're saying, is well written. You want it to be, powerful and persuasive.
Yeah, and one of the things really about copy thinking is it helps you find your voice. And every writer's got their own unique voice. And the copy thinking can really help bring that out, because you'll be less thinking about tactics. And Gary Halbert said it really interestingly and powerfully, I think, when he said, and I'm trying to remember the quote, now it's like eluding me, but basically it was that you could have a really great written letter, and it may not do as good as something that wasn't so well written and had a great idea behind it. And I remember what he said about offers too, about products, is that if you had a really great product, you didn't really need the great copy. And if you had a great copy and a lousy offer, you were going to have still bad results.
Right.
I pretty much fiddle-farted my way through that, didn't I?
All right, guys. There's your recap for Millionaire Mike and my Simple Writing System bonus. You're going to get Millionaire Mike and myself as your personal coaches through the Simple Writing System, plus 2 additional bonus hangouts. And then once the Simple Writing System ends, we're going to give you 6 months of additional coaching, 1 hangout per month. Mike is going to reveal his copy thinking system that he uses right now to hit home run promotions at Agora Financial, what I use right now for some of the biggest names in internet marketing. You're going to get the biggest swipe file. You're going to get a private 1-hour call, either with both of us or one of us. It's up to you. So email responsewarrior.com/SWS bonus. Check it out now, and let us know if you have any other questions. Are we good, Mike?
I think we're good. Thank you guys for showing up. Hope to see you in Simple Writing System and throughout the course. And if not, hey, that's cool too. We'll see you around.
See you guys.
Thanks.